Well, hello everybody, and welcome back to G-Bear's Off-Grid Ways, a homestead in the desert. And yeah, see all the clouds out there? That's all from the Skyriders today. They were busy as could be all morning, and now we're overcast. All right, let's get to it here. I got a lot to cover. Number one, for you people that are moving off-grid and gonna do your thing in the off-grid. And yes, I'm talking to you, Sherry. Sherry, the secretary, a lady in the desert, almost, is not almost anymore. She's out there. All right. Come winter, you're living in an RV. It is going to get cold in there, and you're going to work your butt off trying to keep it warm in there. So, here's a few tips for you. Number one, buy yourself some of this. Okay? Double reflective insulation. Works good for both summer and winter. Now, you can use this stuff for anything, but it's for energy saving. This is 24 inch by 10 foot. Okay, what you're going to do with this is open it up, roll it out, and make window inserts for your RV. Cut them out to as close to the shape as you can to fit those windows in your RV. And these will help keep heat in through the glass, because the glass on those things is just usually single glaze or single pane tempered glass. And they do not insulate very well. Now, a neat little trick I learned, I actually bought this because I don't need it in my RV, but I bought this for reflective inside of my solar oven. But yeah, a lot of people that are boondockers and off-grid people that live in RVs will tell you want to insulate your windows for the winter and sometimes for the summer. If you're not under a false roof or a second roof where you can block out a lot of the sun's rays, these things will help keep it from overheating the inside of your RV. But they're going to give you good insulation. Now, a little trick that I learned, and I'm sorry, but I don't have any with me here, but they make this black sponge peel and stick insulation. And usually it's for lining the edge of a door or a trap or something like that, where you want to close up against it and stop drafts from coming in. What I've done is a lot of it is only adhesive on one side. You peel and stick on one side, but cut out 2 pieces for each window. And then take the first piece, lay it down on a flat table, and put that 3/4 or 1 inch wide insulation all the way around the shape of the window. Then take your second one, put a little bit of super glue on the back side of it, and stick the second one on there so there's an air gap in between the first one and the second one. It'll be a double thick, and it'll be about 1 inch thick, with this on one side and this on the other side. And when you put that in your window, it will definitely give you twice the insulation on that window as you would have had with just one piece of this. All right, now, some other people I know, boondockers, have actually gone to the point of going to thrift stores and buying quilts and things like that, and getting some spring clips that you can buy at Harbor Freight and clip those over all of the windows on the inside on top of this stuff for an extra installation. And because you're going to need it, because those things are only, the walls on those things are maybe at the most 1.5 inches thick. And there's insulation in there. There's fiberglass insulation in between the aluminum siding and the panel on the inside. But the R value of that is only like 7. So it's not going to give you a lot of insulation. So they would hang blankets or quilts over the whole wall, cover the window and cover the whole wall as best they could, even if they had to put screws or screw-in hooks above the windows and the wall on the top, so they could hang the quilts over that. And that helped keep a lot of heat in. Because when it gets really super cold, you're going to feel it. Now, there's one other thing that I did when I first got out here. Look at all my pigeons. I was in the shop a little while ago doing the, Wednesday, and I heard them walking all over the roof of the garage, and I couldn't figure out where the tink, tink, tink sound was coming from. Anyway, where was I? Oh, for heat. Now, there's a lot of places that no longer sell this item, but I've had mine for a long time, and it was a lifesaver out here on the really super cold nights. Okay, and let me see if I can get there. It is. I bought this at Harbor Freight Tools, right here. This is a catalytic heater for propane. And I know there's going to be a bunch of people out there saying, no, you can't use propane burners inside of a camper or anything like that. You know what? Bite me. Just bite me. I use this for every year since I've been here. It's been 10 years. And why? Because there's always a little oxygen coming in. Now, also, this individual unit, and mostly everything that you buy today, if you find an old one in a thrift store or something like that, it may not have it, so don't count on that. But you see all of these cables and stuff here, okay? This thing has a built-in low oxygen sensor and a tip-over sensor. So, if you are running this inside of an enclosed area and it burned up all the oxygen, which is what kills people when they do that, because it cuts all the oxygen off. When it uses up all the oxygen, before it gets to a deadly point, this thing will go into low oxygen shut off and it'll extinguish itself so it doesn't use all your oxygen. All right? The other thing is that if you accidentally got up during the night and you knocked it over, you have it sitting on top of a 20-pound propane tank, and you kick it and it falls over, it'll go out instantly. It will go out instantly. Trust me, I've tested it. So you want to get one that has those two features. Those really make a difference. And I just use this as a subsidy in my cabin for every year since I've been here, 10 years now. Okay, I put it in the living room at night. I turn it on, and I don't worry about high or low or anything like that. I put it on high, and about an hour before bed, and I heat the whole cabin up with it. And then I actually shut it off, because it only takes a quarter turn of the knob and a push on a little red button, go click, click, and it's lit again. All right? It's that simple. So if it gets too cold to where I'm feeling I better heat the place back up again, I'll get up and relight it. But normally, just warming the cabin before bed, it would hold the heat all night long, and then I'd only have to relight it first thing in the morning before breakfast. And I had it in the other room, so it's not in the room I'm working at, and it just kept the cabin comfortable. But that's another nice item that you might want to look into getting if you're going to be off-grid in a cold, temperate climate. All right. So we got those two things done. Next, I promised Tony from doing redneck things off grid that he was going to stop by here. He's in California. He was going to stop by here tomorrow, but I can't be here tomorrow. I've already got plans made, and I've got a lot to do, and I've got to do it tomorrow. So there's not much I can say about that. They're my pigeons. Hi, pigeons. How you doing? And all the little birds up there, they come down and they eat the leftover rice and stuff that the dogs leave behind. And those are the two pups there. That's Brown Socks in the corner and her brother Spot. And they love those holes right there. Those are their holes. But come winter, they'll be inside the dog coops. Doggy Daddy likes that one over there. And I'm going to be taking that cat condo apart because I don't think I'll ever have another cat here with all these dogs. And that's about it. So let me get to Tony. I've been having a little situation with my new solar system, and it's something I'm going to have to work out. Now, one of the nice things about a 12-volt system is that with the 12-volt system and your 12-volt batteries in parallel, you have more amps. You have a higher amount of amps. Okay, so when you hook up batteries in parallel, your voltage stays the same, and you add together all of the amps. So if each one of those batteries was 100 amps or 100 amp hours, and each one was 12 volts, if I hooked those up in parallel, they'd still be 12 volts, 4 of them times 12 volts, but the amps would add together, so now I'd have 400 amp hours. Okay. Now, the higher the amps, the more power you have for hard starting things. My well pump, my shallow well pump, and I don't have a well, but I have it feeding off of my water tank. If I'm running both air conditioners and all the ceiling fans and anything else that I've got running, the refrigerators and freezers and all of that, if I'm running all of that in the cabin and then I go outside to fill up the dog's water bowls, when the pump kicks on, it actually shuts down my new inverter, my new all-in-one, because the amp draw is too high for it to handle. So it goes into shutdown protective mode. So I'm going to have to do something to fix that. And I'm going to get in touch with SunGold Power and ask them what they recommend. And I think what they're going to tell me is I'm going to have to add more batteries in parallel. So I've got 48 volts on those 4 that are hooked in series. That's just one 48 volt battery now. So if I get more 48 volt batteries, I can add those in parallel with that group, and it'll be the same thing. So I may have to add a couple of 100 amp hours that way, but I want to make sure before I do that. So I'm going to contact SunGold Power tech support, tell them what my situation is. They are very, very helpful, and they're very nice to work with. You get them online, and they talk to you. They talk to you like a regular person. They don't get upset with you because you don't know a lot about the system. They teach you. They tell you, yeah, this is what's going on. Now, something that I just learned the other day when I called them that I didn't know about the SunGold Power. I was getting an error reading right down here. See where the check mark is? It says everything, that check mark means everything's working great. And there was a flashing error thing right there, a yellow flashing error. And I couldn't figure out what the heck to do about that. And I never even noticed, but right here where these two things are going up and down for normal operation, there was a number instead, and it was number 51. And I never noticed that. But when I talked to the guy on the phone, he said, is there, right next to where it says error, is there a number? And I said, yes, 51. And he said, oh, that's the logger unit. There's a problem with the logger unit. And on your settings, you have to go to setting number. Right off the top of his head, he didn't have to look in a book or anything. Right off the top of his head, you got to go to setting number, I think 16 or something like that. And you got to change it from this setting to this setting. You want to take the setting off of there and put it to disable. I did that. Perfect. Working fine. And it only took a few minutes. So if you do get one of these and you have some questions or some problems, don't be afraid to call tech support. Now, when you get them on, call the number online, they're going to go through, if you have this, press 1. If you have this, press 2. If you need this, press 3, so forth and so on. I think number 6 is for after sales tech support. Now, they also have a sales support and before sales support. So you got to listen carefully. When it gets to the after sales support, tech support, then you use that number to get into the system, and you'll get somebody on the phone almost instantly every time I've called. So it's really nice. But yeah, just a couple of minutes, and they walk you through it and straighten it out. Now, the other thing was, I thought I had to have it plugged into the first plug-in over here, because it says on there something about the 785 logger or something like that. And that's where I had it, and that was causing the error also. He says take it out of there and move it over one, and you'll be fine. I did. As soon as I plugged it in, boom, everything came up. Those guys know their stuff. So thank you, Sun Gold Power. Great job you're doing over there. And still love the unit. I just need to correct the amps problem here with it. Of course, I won't be running all my air conditioning and all that stuff all of the time. And I don't have that problem unless I'm running all the air conditioners and ceiling fans and all that stuff. So it does have enough amps to work normally if I'm not running everything that I have to run. So I'm just going to give them a call, and well, I probably won't do that until next Monday. But I'll give them a call, and I'll bet you it'll only be 5, maybe 10 minutes on the line, and they'll tell me exactly what I need. And I'll go from there. So I want to thank you all for joining me, everybody. I hope that helps you, Tony. There is that amp problem, because when you hook batteries in series, you don't get the amps. Of course, you're on 48 volt batteries, and yours are all hooked in parallel, so you've increased the amps. I think you're running 400 amp hour. So 400 amps is better than my 230 I'm running in here. So I'm going to have to correct that and maybe get up to 400 amps, and then I won't have that problem anymore. All right. Thank you for joining me, everybody. Don't forget that thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. And it's free to subscribe. If you click anything that says you need to pay, that's for paid patrons. That's not for, it's just a free subscription. So you want to see it, look where it says subscribe and click on that. And if you click it twice, you're going to unsubscribe yourself. So make sure that you look at it and it says you are subscribed. And then there's a little bell icon there. You click that and it'll give you a choice of if you want to get notified for all of my videos or just some of them or whatever. You can make all of those decisions on your own. Thanks for joining me, everybody. This is G Bear signing off.